earth. You sailors who serve Ajax, those of us who care for the house of Telamon will soon wail for our fierce hero sits shell-shocked in his tent glazed over, gazing into oblivion. He has the 1,000-yard stare. Can I say something that should never be spoken? You would rather die than hear what I am about to say. A divine madness has poisoned his mind, tainting his name during the night. Our home is a slaughterhouse, littered with cow carcasses and goats gushing thick blood, throats slit, horn to horn, by his hand, evil omens of things to come. There, over there, that is where he dragged them, bound with ropes. He executed some inside, forcing them to the ground. The rest he tore apart, savagely scratching away at their flanks. With his fingers, with one quick chop, he severed the head of a white-footed ram and let it drop to the floor. Then grabbing another by the throat, he tied it down and ripped out its tongue, and then he lashed it with his harsh whip until there was nothing left to lash, all the while spewing vile words that must have come from a god. Come back to his senses, and as a warm wind always follows the last lightning flash, his rage has been swept away, only to reveal fresh wounds. For nothing is more troubling for a man than to discover an evil crime of which he is the culprit. Given the choice, which would you prefer? Happiness while your friends are in pain or to share in their suffering?
Yeah.
Get sick while he recovers.
What do you mean?
His madness, he took pleasure in the evil that possessed him, all the while afflicting those of us nearby. But now that the fever has broken, all his pleasure has turned to pain, and we are still afflicted just as before. Twice the pain is twice the sorrow. The pain is now mine. I will share this with you too. In the dead of night, when the lamps no longer burned, Ajax found his sword and moved for the door. Naturally, I objected. Where are you going? No messenger has come calling for help. All of the soldiers are asleep. Please come back to bed. He turned to me and he firmly said, woman, silence becomes a woman. I've heard him say that before and I know what it means. So I quit asking questions and he left without saying a word. Whatever happened next, I cannot say, but soon he returned pulling bulls and sheep tied up with ropes. Dealing with some, he lopped off their heads, slit their throats, and snapped spines. Other, he tortured as if they were men. Finally, he dashed outside and spoke to someone in the shadows, cursing the generals and Odysseus, bragging and laughing about sweet revenge. He quickly returned to the tent, and he slowly returned to his senses. When he finally saw what he had done, taking in the carnage, he struck his head and groaned like a bull, diving onto the bodies, rolling in their blood, clawing at his face, staring at his hair. For a long time, he sat in silence, rocking on the floor. But then he wanted to know what happened and threatened to hurt me if I didn't tell him what I knew. I feared for my life, and I quickly coughed up this story. He started to make these low sounds, the kind I'd never thought I'd hear him make, for he always told his men crying was for women and cowards. Tired from all the tears, he now rests in his mess, strangely silent, refusing food or water, planning to do something terrible. I can hear it in his voice. That is why I came to you. Go inside and see what you can do. Men will often listen to friends.
Terrible are the evils of which...
Rolling up from Ajax's throat. No, where is he? He wants to see his boy Eurysakes. There, they are open. Now you can see him as he is and look upon the evil he has done. Ajax, there is nothing worse in this world for men than the necessity of fate. I come from a very wealthy family. My father was the richest man in Phrygia. Now I am a slave. The gods willed that you would win me with your strength. And I have accepted my destiny of sharing your bed and have come with time to love you very much. And so I beg you, by our home and by the bed that we share. Do not let me suffer at the hands of your enemies. Do not turn me over to the men whom you hate, for on the day that you die, moments after your death, your son and I will be snatched up violently by the Greeks and treated like slaves. One of my new masters will sneer at me and say, look, there's that woman, the mistress of Ajax, the strongest warrior in the entire army. Can you actually believe that people used to envy her? She is nothing now but a common slave. That's what he'll say. And worse, and the pain of it will be my fate, and the shame of it will stain your family. Think about your father, whom you will be abandoning in the throes of old age, and your poor old mother who spends all her days praying that you will someday return home alive. And what about your son? Can you imagine how hard your death will be on him? Growing up fatherless and without food on the table, living with men who hate him for being your son. I have nowhere else to go, no one to whom to turn. My parents are dead. You destroyed my homeland, my safety, my life. Nothing else matters but you. I ask you to remember all the good times we had, and to treat me kindly, please, for a noble man always remembers those who gave him pleasure and protects them from danger.
I hope you will pity this woman and welcome her words as we do.
I will welcome her when she has done as she's been told.
My dear Ajax, I shall always do as you say.
Then bring me my boy so I can see him.
Forgive me, sir, forgive me. I hid him in fear.
Were you afraid that he would see his father covered in blood?
I was afraid he would lose his life if you laid eyes on him.
I suppose that was right, given the state I was in.
I tried my best to keep him out of harm's way.
I approve of your actions. You showed great foresight.
Ajax, what can I do to make things better between us?
Let me see my boy.
He is guarded nearby.
Why am I made to wait for him?
Come with me, Lord Ajax, come. I will show you where he is hiding. Freshly dead, impaled on his sword.
Oh, there will be no...
Not to be seen. I will cover his body with a white cloth, for no one who loved him could bear to see the black blood drip from his nostrils and the deep self-inflicted wound, the gaping hole, the center of his chest. What am I to do now? Which one of you will lift him? Where is two, sir? He should be here now to help to prepare the body for burial. We don't have much time. Oh, Ajax, this was no way to die. Not for you. Even your enemies will weep when they see you.
A man of many turns now.
They won't laugh long when they lack his shield in combat. Evil men only appreciate good men like Ajax after they're gone. His death is bitter to me as it is sweet to them, and pleasant for him, for he died according to his own wishes. They have no reason to claim victory over him, for it was a god who took his life, not them. Let Odysseus curse his name and hurl hard words. Ajax won't hear them. He is gone, far away from here. He knows neither their laughter nor my loud moan. Cybele, womb of God, I called out to you when they stripped him of his father's arms. Man who has endured countless problems I would wish upon none of my friends. If you feel contempt for the generals, sir, then convert their evil into good. Take him where he wants to go upon your swift ship. Escape God's wrath.
There's Taylor Schilling. You may know her from Orange is the New Black and many other turns. Frankie Faison from Newport News, Virginia, my hometown. So delighted to have him with us again. And of course, Glenn Davis, who was with us before, who is one of our veteran actors, who's now the co-artistic director of Steppenwolf Theater. We're delighted to have all four of these amazing performers with us tonight. Thank you guys so much. I know we'll be seeing you at the next one or the next one after that. Now we're going to transition now to our panel, and we're going to put our actors in the audience.